Hey, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. It's Brian from outside the four walls of Yahuwah. I'm going to continue reading from the Testaments of the Patriarchs and Prophets. But first, I'm going to show you a video from, his name's Stephen Fletcher. I'm sure a lot of you all have heard of him or seen his videos, but they just put a statue up, and it lines up right with the Bible. I don't know if they're mocking us or it's just prophecy being fulfilled. Probably mockery, though. It's probably both, really, but here, check it out, and I'm going to tell you guys about a dream I had. 1 second. All right.
Good evening, everybody. Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People, December 6th, 2021. And I want to share with you about the new statue that is outside the United Nations in New York City. Quite honestly, I had not even seen this. There's so many things happening, so many pieces of information that are coming together at this time. This is one thing that just totally slipped by me, but a lot of people have been asking me about this. I saw some information about this, and I wanted to just share this piece of information, a couple screenshots that you might be able to get from this video that you can share with others. This comes from a tweet off of the United Nations headquarters Twitter account. And this is what they show. A guardian for international peace and security sits on the visitors' plaza outside the UN headquarters. The guardian is a fusion of jaguar and eagle. Okay, now there's one other thing that was shown at the United Nations headquarters Twitter account, and that is that this was donated by the government of Oaxaca, and it was created by artists Jacob, Jacobo, and Maria Angeles. Okay. Hey guys, Jacob is another name for Joseph. Joseph is considered a similarity in the biblical name of Jacob, Joseph. Joseph or Jacob and Maria Angeles. Okay. Joseph and Maria, Jacob and Maria. We have here a connection to the parents of Jesus, and their last name is Angeles. Okay, I think this is all a coincidence that this is all coming from the fallen angels, Jacob and Mary. So, as it is stated there, a guardian for international peace and security. What does 1 Thessalonians 5:3 say? For when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, a guardian for international peace and security. When they say peace and security, sudden destruction. Yeah, the Twitter account that I just showed you shows the 9th of November. So that's a 119. That's a 911 in reverse. Another very interesting detail is that Revelation 9:11 says they have an angel over them, Apollyon, the angel of the abyss. This was revealed on November 9th, which is 119, a reverse 911. And the last piece of information I want to share with you about this is Revelation 13:2. And it's the beast of Revelation. And it says right here in the Bible in Revelation 13:2, the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. His feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of the lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay. The This says this is a fusion of jaguar and eagle. And so the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, a jaguar, a leopard, some type of cat family beast, the mouth of a lion, the feet of a bear. Okay, and we can see the fusion of this beast that is exactly in front of the United Nations headquarters. Okay, so if this is not another sign of coming sudden destruction that is more and more imminent every day, I don't know what is. I pray you guys are blessed. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.
When we talk about the false prophet in a few moments.
All right. So there's that video. I thought that was interesting. So, see what you guys think about it. Okay. Now, I get a lot of dreams. Sometimes, well, most of them, are just dreams from whatever. And I don't share dreams on this channel. I really don't even watch other people's dreams unless I know it's from a really good source or the Holy Spirit leads me to it. But about a week ago, I had a dream, and I know it's from the Most High. So that's the only reason I'm sharing it, and it's quite significant. Any of us that have the Holy Spirit have eyes that see and ears that hear. And if we have eyes that see and ears that hear, because we are filled with the Holy Spirit, we know that a famine's coming. We know that the food chain's breaking down. We know that the price of bread is going to be, the wages of a man's wages for a day. The second or the third horse. We know all that's coming. Well, I had a dream. I was with an old pastor, Pastor Steve, which is in Detroit. Steve Upshur, Peacemakers International. He's in Detroit. I was sitting with him. He looked totally different, but I knew it was him. So anyways, I'm kicking with my old pastor. We're in an old Model T car, and we're talking. He's got his family with him, and we're riding through a farm, and we're seeing animals. Can't remember any of the animals, but the only animal I can remember that I remember seeing was a cow. Okay, and I saw these cows all in a line. They were red cows. Okay, and the lady was bringing them in, like she was directing them into the corral, but it wasn't a corral. It was some kind of conveyor belt. Okay, and all these cows were red. Okay, they were red, and when she instructed them to go through the corral, they were going through some kind of water, some kind of liquid. Okay, remember the cows were red. As they went in the liquid, they'd come out of the liquid and they'd be white as snow. Okay, so white as snow. So they go in red and they come out white. But then I got out of the car and I went and I approached her and I talked to her. I said, "What are you harvesting here?" And I don't even know why I asked her that, but that was the dream. I said, "What are you harvesting here?" And she says, "Well, come here, I'll show you." She showed me something that looked like a bunch of long planks of wood, but it was a conveyor belt, but underwater. It was just like it was just a belt that was going like this over and over. And she says, "Come here, I'll show you what I'm harvesting." And when I went and looked, there was just little, I shouldn't do that, sorry. There was little pieces of stuff that looked like rock. They were tiny. Some looked like rocks, some looked like rice, some looked like quarters, silver dollars. Some were bigger, some were smaller. And she says, "Wow, look at all we got this time." And I swear, guys, there was probably like 3 pieces on each little belt. There was hardly anything there. So I was talking with my wife, and we kind of interpreted it as that there's a famine coming, and some of us or all of us are going to, not be so righteous and not so holy, but through the tribulation. I believe in the rapture. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but maybe we have to go through the famine for a little. Maybe the Most High is going to let us go through something, and then at the last minute, He's going to pull us out. But that was a dream. So the red cows were going in this liquid, and when they come out, they were white as snow. They were bleached. That's what I saw. That in my dream, the cows were bleached. So that was the dream. I'm assuming that. Cat's crazy. I'm assuming that, through our trials and tribulations through our whole life, we become white as snow through the blood of the Lamb. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not even sure if that's what it means, but that's the interpretation I came up with once my wife helped me. Once I told my wife about it, we were thinking about it for a couple of days. And hey, Truth, how you doing? I couldn't find your channel. I was looking for it, but it wouldn't. All I was finding was unicorns. So if you want, send me a link or put it up on the chat. So yeah, that was the dream. Through our lives, that's great. Hey, StreamYard is allowing me to invite one person, so I'll maybe text me or hit me up on the email. Send me your link to your channel too if you want. Text me your link so I can find your channel. Same with you, musical evangelist. I haven't been able to find your channel either. Or comment on one of the videos, and I can find it that way. So yeah, the cows are going in red. They're coming out white. Through our trials and our tribulations, we're going to be purified and we're going to be made holy and righteous. But through our trials and tribulations, and a lot of us have been going through trials and tribulations our whole life, so it's nothing new. But some of us haven't. Others in the world have not denied themselves. They have not been called out and separated. They have not made the hard choices years ago to separate themselves from the world, to be set apart, to be a peculiar people. So, thanks, girl. Appreciate it, sis. Yeah, and guys, go check out her channel if you want. I don't know if she's got anything up yet, but she's a good sister in Christ. So, all right, you guys should check out this Clementine homilies. Oh wait, yeah, you guys should check this out here. It's a really it's really good actually. He's hanging out with Barnabas. He's hanging out with all the apostles, and he's talking about the first time he met Christ or talked to Christ, I believe. I don't think I got to the part where he meets him or not. I don't even know if that's true, but he's hanging out with all the apostles, and they're shooting back and forth. And he gains the trust of the apostles. It's just a really good story. It's really long though. I mean, I've only got to chapter 14, and it's 20 chapters. So in here, see when Peter, and it's all in the a lot of the names are in Hebrew. I don't even know how I found it. I just typed in Clementine homilies. All right, so that was a dream. So hopefully that does something for y'all. Maybe that'll get you to start preparing even more, because we can all see it. The famine's coming. So, all right, so I'm gonna continue reading this Testament. That's his. What's that? Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Wow, great. Appreciate it, Truth. See, I can't click on it. That's Truth, and then you're saying that's manna. Hidden Manna. Guys, go check out Hidden Manna too. That's musical evangelist. All right, Truth Unmuzzled Unicorn. Have a blessed day. Hope you had a good week so far. Jesus be with you. Yahshua be with you today, tomorrow, and days to come. All right, guys. I'm going to start reading. I got a little bit to do here, so I'm going to read this, and then I'll read the rest in a couple days or tomorrow, hopefully, if God wills it. All right, so the Testament of Judah. A copy of the words of Judah. Let me make sure I'm sharing. All right, looks like we don't even see my face, my ugly grill. All right. Testament of Judah. All right, we're sharing. Hopefully you all can see it. All right. So that's his coat of arms, I guess. And it's funny that video I shared from Stephen Fletcher is talking about Jacob, and here we are reading about Jacob's kids. All right, a copy of the words of Judah, which he spoke to his sons before he died. When they gathered together and came to him, he said to them, "Listen, my children, to Judah your father. I was the fourth son born to my father Jacob and Leah. My mother named me Judah, saying, I give thanks to the Lord because he has given me a fourth son. In my youth I was keen. I obeyed my father in accord with his every word, and I honored my mother and her sister. And it happened that as I matured, my father declared to me, You shall be king, achieving success in every way. And the Lord bestowed on me grace in all my undertakings, in the field and at home. I know that I raced a deer, caught it, prepared it as food for my father, and he ate it. By chasing it, I captured a gazelle, and everything that was in the fields I overtook. I killed a lion and removed a kid from its mouth. Seizing a bear by his paw, I dropped it over a cliff, and it was crushed. I raced a wild boar as I ran, overtook it and dismembered it. In Hebron, a leopard leapt on a dog and seized it. I snatched it by the tail and broke it in tow on a rock. I found a wild ox grazing in the country. Grasping it by the horns, and brandishing it in a circle until it was blind. I hurled it down and destroyed it. When 2 armor-clad kings of the Canaanites came with a large force to seize our flocks, I ran out alone against one of the kings, struck him on his leg armor, knocked him down, and killed him. As I did the other, the king of Tepuel, while he was astride his horse, with the result that all his people were scattered. Arcor, the king, a giant of a man, was shooting arrows before and behind while on a horse. I lifted a stone of 60 pounds weight, hurled it at his horse, and killed it. And I fought with Acre for 2 hours. Acor. I killed him, cut his shield in two, and hacked off his feet. While I was removing his breastplate, 8 of his companions started to attack me. Wrapping my clothing in my hand, I slung stones at them, killing 4 of them, and the rest fled. My father Jacob killed Belasath, king of all kings, a giant man in strength, 12 cubits tall, fighting the giants. Trembling seized them, and they stopped attacking us, so that my father had no anxiety about battles so long as I was with my brothers. For he saw in a vision concerning me that a powerful angel accompanied me everywhere so that no one might touch me. Well, that explains how he killed all that stuff. After that, an attack against us occurred in the south that was greater than the one at Shechem. After my brothers and I joined forces, we pursued 1,000 men and killed 200 of them and destroyed 4 kings. I went up on the wall and killed their king. Thus, we liberated Hebron and took all the captives. Next day, we went off to Eraton, a city secure and strong, which threatened us with death. Gad and I went up from the east of the city, while Reuben and Levi came from the west. Those who were on the wall, also you guys, I guess the, Gad, the seer, or the tribe of Gad, I guess there's a book out there too on that. So if you guys want, you should check that out. I don't know how true it is or if it's inspired or not, but I'm sure it is. Because why would it be gone? Those who were on the wall, supposing that we were the sole attackers, were drawn out against us. And so, secretly, by means of pegs, my brothers climbed up the wall on the other side and invaded the city without their knowing it. And we captured it with the edge of the sword. Those on the walls fled in a tower, which we set afire, and thereby took all of them and all their possessions. As we were leaving, the men of Tepuel killed them and burned their city, plundering everything that was in it. When I was in the waters of Kozeba, the men of Jabal launched an attack against us, and having joined battle with them, we put them to flight, slew their allies from Siloam, and we left them with no means to attack us. Again, on the 5th day, the people of Machir attacked. Marshaling our forces, we triumphed over them in a mighty onslaught, and killed them even before they could withdraw into their stronghold. When we approached their city, the women rolled stones from the crest of the hill on which the city was built. But Simeon and I, entering the city secretly from behind, seized its heights and completely destroyed it as well. On the next day, we were told that the king of the city of Gash was coming against us with a large force. So Dan and I, pretending to be Amorites, entered their city as allies. In the depth of the night, our brothers came, and we opened the gates for them. All their possessions and all their loot were destroyed. Their 3 walls were razed. We drew near to Thamah, where all their equipment was. Then, since I was being insulted by them, I became angry and launched an attack against them up to the heights, while they were slinging stones and shooting arrows. Had it not been that Dan, my brother, fought along with me, they would have killed me. We went out against them with wrath, and they all fled. Proceeding by another route, they petitioned my father, and he made peace with them. We did them no harm, but we kept them subject to tribute and returned to them the spoils taken from them. I built Thamah, and my father built Rebel. 1 second, sorry. All right, I just want to make sure it's all right. I was 20 when this battle occurred, and the Canaanites were fearful of me and my brothers. I had many cattle. I had Hiram and Adulamite as chief herdsmen. When I approached him, I saw Bathsheba, the king of Adulam. He conversed with us and held a drinking party for us. When I urged him, he gave me his daughter named Saba as wife. She bore me Onan, and Shalom. The Lord took away 2 of them, but Shalom lived. For 18 years my father was at peace with his brother Esau and his sons with us after we had come out of Mesopotamia from Laban. When the 18 years were completed, Esau, my father's brother, came up against us with a force powerful and strong. Jacob struck Esau with an arrow, and in death he was carried up to Mount Seir. That's from Jasher. We pursued Esau's sons, who had possession of a fortified city, which we were unable to enter. Encamping around it, we besieged it. When they had not opened it to us after 20 days, I set up a ladder and, holding a shield in position over my head, climbed up in spite of being hit by stones. I killed 4 of their powerful men, while Reuben and Gad killed 6 others. Then they asked us for peace terms, and following consultation with our father, we took them as subjects under tribute. They regularly gave us 200 cores of wheat, 500 baths of oil, and 500 measures of wine until the famine, when we went down into Egypt. After this, my son brought from Mesopotamia Tamar, daughter of Aram, as a wife for himself. Was wicked, and a difficulty arose concerning Tamar, because she was not of the land of Canaan. An angel of the Lord took him away on the 3rd night. All right, so Tamar, because she was not of the land of Canaan. He had not had intercourse with her in keeping with his mother's treacherous scheme, because he did not want to have children by her. In the days designated for the bridal chamber, I assigned Onan to fulfill the marital role with her, but in his wickedness he did not have intercourse with her, even though he was with her for a year. When I threatened him, he lay with her, but let his semen spill out on the ground as his mother ordered him. He also died through his wickedness, which I believe that's in the canon. I wanted to give Shalom to her also, but his mother would not allow it. She did this evil thing because Tamar was not the daughter of Canaan as she was, and I knew that the race of the Canaanites was evil, but youthful impulses blinded my reason. You notice with all these brothers, they all have a problem with lust, as most men do. I had a problem with it before, and when I saw her, I was led astray by the strong drink and had intercourse with her. While I was absent, she went off and brought from Canaan a wife for Shalom. When I realized what she had done, I pronounced a curse on her in the anguish of my soul, and she died in her wickedness together with her children. After this, while Tamar was a widow, she heard 2 years later that I was going up to shear sheep. Decking herself in bridal array, she sat at the entrance of the inn in the city of Enan, for there was a law among the Amorites that a woman who was widowed should sit in public like a whore. Since I was drunk with wine, I did not recognize her, and her beauty enticed me because of her manner of tricking herself out. I bent down, so that's one thing, ladies. Be careful how you dress, how you look. And if you are going to get pretty for your husband or whatever, that's one thing. But like these women on TikTok, they're just out here throwing it out there and shaking it all around. That's not good. And I know they don't realize that, but, for you sisters out there that are trying to live a holy life being set apart, obviously we know that's not right. I bent down and said to her, I shall go in unto you. And she said, what will you give me? And I gave her my staff, my ring, my royal crown as a pledge. So I had intercourse with her, and she conceived. Not understanding what I have done, it was my wish to kill her, but she sent me secretly the pledges and utterly humiliated me. I summoned her and heard the words spoken in a mystery when I was drunk and sleeping with her, so I could not kill her, because it was from the Lord. I kept saying, what if she did it deceitfully, having received the pledge from some other woman? But I did not go near her again until the end of my life, because I had done this thing which was revolting in all Israel. Those who were in the city were saying that there had been no whore at the gate, because she had come quickly from another district and sat at that gate. So I suppose no one knew that I had gone into her. Afterward, I went to Egypt to Joseph on account of the famine. I was 46 years old, and I spent 70 years in Egypt. And now, my children, I command you to give heed to Judah, your father, and keep my words, so as to perform all the Lord's just decrees and to obey the command of God. Do not pursue evil impelled by your lust, by the arrogance of your heart, and do not boast the exploits and strength of your youth, because this too is evil in the Lord's sight. Since I had boasted that During a war, not even a beautifully formed woman's face would entice me. And I had scolded Reuben, my brother, concerning Bilhah, my father's wife. The spirit of envy, and promiscuity plotted against me, until I lay with Anan, the Canaanite woman, and Tamar, who was pledged in marriage to my son. For I said to my father-in-law, I will confer with my father, and then I will take your daughter. But since he was unwilling to delay, he showed me a measureless mass of gold, which was in his daughter's name. He decked her in gold and pearls, and made her pour out wine for us in a feast. The wine perverted my eyesight, pleasure darkened my heart. I longed for her, and lay with her. Thus I transgressed the Lord's commandment, and that of my father, when I took her as my wife. And the Lord repaid me according to the rashness of my soul, because I had no delight in her children. And now, my children, I tell you, do not be drunk with wine, because wine perverts the mind from the truth, arouses the impulses of desire, and leads the eyes into path of error. For the spirit of promiscuity has wine as its servant for the indulgence of the mind. If any of you drinks wine to the point of drunkenness, your mind is confused by sordid thoughts, and your body is kindled by pleasures to commit adultery. Thus he commits sin and is unashamed. Such is the drunkard, my children. He who is drunken has respect for no one. See, even I was deceived, so that I was not ashamed before the throne in the city, because before the eyes of all I turned aside to Tamar, and committed a great sin, and disclosed to my sons my acts of uncleanliness. When I had drinking wine, I flouted shamelessly God's command, and took the Canaanite woman. He who drinks wine needs much perception, my children, and this is the perception the wine drinker requires. So long as he is decent, he may drink. But if he sees the limit, the spirit of error invades his mind, and makes the drunkard become foul-mouthed and lawless, yet rather be ashamed. He boasts in his dishonorable action, and considers it to be fine. The promiscuous man is unaware when he has been harmed, and shameless when he has been disgraced. For even someone who is a king, if he is promiscuous, is divested of his kingship, since he has been enslaved by sexual impulses, just as I experienced. For I gave my staff, that is the stability of my tribe, my girdle, which is my power, and my crown, that is the glory of my kingdom. Since I repented of these acts, I consumed neither wine nor meat until my old age, and I saw no merriment at all. And the angel of the Lord showed me that women have the mastery over both that some women have the mastery over both king and poor man. From the king they will take away his glory, from the real man his power, and from the poor man even the slight support that he has in his poverty. Take care to be temperate with wine, my children, for there are in it four evil spirits. Desire, heated passion, debauchery, and sordid greed. If you drink wine in merriment, showing due respect for the reverence of God, you shall live. But if you drink without restraint, and the reverence of God departs, the result is drunkenness, and shamelessness sneaks in. But if you wish to live prudently, abstain completely from drinking in order that you might not sin by uttering lewd words, by fighting, by slander, by transgressing God's commandments. Then you shall not die before your allotted time. The mysteries of God and men, wine discloses, just as I disclosed to the Canaanite woman the commandments of God and the mysteries of Jacob my father, which God had told me not to reveal. And now, my children, I command you not to love money, or to gaze on the beauty of women, because it was on account of money and attractive appearance that I was led astray to Bathsheba the Canaanite. And I know that on account of these two things my tribe is doomed to wickedness. For even the wise men from among my sons will be changed for the worse, and the kingdom of Judah they shall cause to be diminished, though the Lord gave it to me because of my obedience to my father. For at no time did I bring grief to Jacob my father, because everything he said I did. And Abraham, my father's father, blessed me, as destined to be the king in Israel, and Jacob blessed me similarly. And so I know that through me the kingdom will be established. For in the books of Enoch the righteous I have read the evil things you will do in the last days. Guard yourselves, therefore, my children, against sexual promiscuity and love of money. Listen to Judah, your father, for these things distance you from the law of God, blind the direction of the soul, and teach arrogance. They do not permit a man to show mercy to his neighbor. They deprive his soul of all goodness and oppress him with hardships and grief. They take away sleep from him and utterly waste his flesh. They impede the sacrifices to God. He does not remember the blessings of God. He does not obey the prophet when he speaks, and he is offended by a pious word. For two passions contrary to God's commands enslave him, so that he is unable to obey God. They blind his soul, and he goes about in the day as though it were night. My children, love of money leads to idolatry, because once they are led astray by money, they designate as gods those who are not gods. It makes anyone who has it go out of his mind. On account of money, I utterly lost my children. And had it not been for the penance of my flesh, the humility of my soul, and the prayers of my father Jacob, I would have met death childless. But the God of my fathers, who is compassionate and merciful, pardoned me because I acted in ignorance. The prince of error blinded me, and I was ignorant as a human being, as flesh in my corrupt sins, until I learned of my own weakness after supporting myself to be invincible. So understand, my children, that two spirits await an opportunity with humanity, the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. In between is the conscience of the mind, which inclines as it will. The things of truth and the things of error are written in the affections of men, each one of whom the Lord knows. There is no moment, there is no moment in which man's works can be concealed, because they are written on the heart in the Lord's sight. And the Spirit of truth testifies to all things and brings all accusations. He who has sinned is consumed in his heart and cannot raise his head to face the judge. And now, children, love Levi so that you may endure. Do not be arrogant toward him, or you will be wholly destroyed. So, Levi is pretty important, as we read, because he was the priesthood. To me, God has given the kingship, and to him the priesthood, and he has subjected the kingship to the priesthood. To me he gave earthly matters, and to Levi heavenly matters. As heaven is superior to the earth, so is God's priesthood superior to the kingdom on earth. Unless through sin it falls away from the Lord and is dominated by the earthly kingdom. For the Lord chose him over you to draw near to him, to eat at his table, to present as offerings the costly things of the sons of Israel. You shall be to them like the sea, as in it the just and the unjust are tempest tossed. Some are taken captive, some become rich. So shall it be in every race of mankind. Some shall be exposed to danger, some taken captive, some shall grow rich by looting. Those who rule shall be like sea monsters, swallowing up human beings like fish. Free sons and daughters they shall enslave, houses, fields, flocks, goods they shall seize. Enoch 58. With the flesh of many persons they shall wickedly gorge crows and cranes. They shall make progress in evil. They should be exalted in avarice. Sorry, I don't know what that means. Like a whirlwind, I should have looked it up. Like a whirlwind shall be the false prophets. They shall harass the righteous. The Lord will instigate among them factions set against each other, and conflicts will persist in Israel. My rule shall be terminated by men of alien race until the salvation of Israel comes, until the coming of the God of righteousness, so that Jacob may enjoy tranquility and peace, as well as all the nations. He shall preserve the power of my kingdom forever. With an oath, the Lord swore to me that the rule would not cease for my posterity. My grief is great, my children, on account of the lasciviousness and witchcraft and idolatry that you practice contrary to the kingship, following ventriloquists, omen dispensers, and demons of deceit. You shall make your daughters into musicians and common women, and you will become involved in revolting Gentile and heathen affairs. In response to this, the Lord will bring you famine and plague, death and the sword. So you got the beast, you got the famine, the sword, and the pestilence. And that's all through the Old Testament. So, because here you got the famine, the pestilence, death, and the sword. Well, so it's a little different. They're just missing the beast, but that could be the death. Punishment by a siege, scattering by enemies like dogs, the scorn of fields, destruction and putrefaction of your eyes, slaughter of infants, the plunder of your sustenance, the rape of your possessions, consummation of God's sanctuary by fire, a desolate land, and yourselves enslaved by the Gentile nations, which all that is happening right now and is to be fulfilled eventually. And they shall castrate some of you as eunuchs for their wives, until you return to the Lord in integrity of heart, penitent and living according to all the Lord's commands. Then the Lord will be concerned for you in mercy and will free you from captivity under your enemies. And after this there shall arise for you a star from Jacob in peace, and a man shall arise from my posterity like the Son of Righteousness, walking with the sons of men in gentleness and righteousness, and in him will be found no sin. And the heavens will be opened upon him to pour out the Spirit as a blessing of the Holy Father. And he will pour the Spirit of grace on you, and you shall be children in truth, and you will walk in his first and final decrees. This is the branch of God Most High. This is the fountain for the life of all humanity. Then he will illuminate the scepter of my kingdom. And from your root will arise the branch, and through it will arise the rod of righteousness for the nations, to judge and to save all that call on the name of the Lord. And after this, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will be resurrected to life, and I, my brothers, will be chiefs, wielding our scepters in Israel. Levi the first, I second, Joseph third, Benjamin fourth, Simeon fifth, Issachar sixth, and all the rest in their order. And the Lord blessed Levi, the angel of the presence blessed me. The powers of glory blessed Simeon, the heaven blessed Reuben, the earth blessed Issachar, the sea blessed Zebulun, the mountains blessed Joseph, the tent blessed Benjamin, the lights blessed Dan, luxury blessed Naphtali, the sun blessed Gad, the olive tree blessed Asher. And you shall be one people of the Lord with one language. There shall no more be Beliar's spirit of error, because he will be thrown into eternal fire. And those who died in sorrow shall be raised in joy, and those who died in poverty for the Lord's sake shall be made rich. Those who died on account of the Lord shall be awakened to life. And the deer of Jacob shall run with gladness. The eagles of Jacob shall fly with joy. The impious shall mourn and sinners shall weep, but all people shall glorify the Lord forever. Observe the whole law of the Lord, therefore, my children, because it is hope for all who pursue his way. And he said to them, at 119 years of age, I am dying before your eyes this day. Do not bury me in expensive clothing, or disembowel me for embalming, because that is what is done for royal rulers. But take me up to Hebron with you. When he had said this, Judah fell asleep, and his sons did everything as he had instructed them, and they buried him in Hebron with his fathers. Book of Jasher. All right, guys. Well, that was the Testament of Judah. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Clutch, I am late. I will watch. Yeah, it's all right, Clutch. Nice to see you, bro. Or sister, brother or sister. All right, y'all. Well, sorry it was only 40 minutes, but I'm gonna read all 12 of them, and then I'll move on to something else. So, but if you guys want to hear any other of the books I read, go back in the channel. There's all kinds of them. All right, y'all. I hope you have a blessed day. Christ be with you, and just continue to stand that rock. All right, God bless you guys. Have a great night. Love you.